I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Today I'm going to go over the 2022 Giant Anthem Pro 329er cross country mountain bike and let you know my thoughts. As you can see, the color amber glow is fantastic. The bike looks amazing and it seems like it's ready to rip an XC race. Let's go over what it comes with. The frame is carbon fiber and is 250 grams lighter than the previous generation bike, which would lead you to believe that this bike is lighter than previous generations. The fork is a RockShox SID with 110 millimeters of travel. And for some reason, they paired it with a Fox float shock. Because the shock is not compatible with a remote, I had to buy another Fox shock to use with the remote for the fork shock combo. So this did not come on the bike. This is a totally different shock. I think it looks kind of silly having different brand suspension on the bike, but I guess that's what Giant wanted. And if we look here, this is the remote. This remote does control both the shock and the fork at the same time. The handlebar is thicker than normal and a little heavier than normal. It is a non-carbon bar and it came with Giant XC Pro foam grips that were really thin, so I upgraded to the thick wolf tooth fat paw grips. The stem is also Giant's SLXC version, non-carbon. The bars in the stem are now 35 millimeter instead of the 31.8 that we are all used to. So this is a lot thicker in the middle. The seat post is a Giant contact switch dropper with a remote and has 125 millimeters of travel. It seems to work pretty well, although I have a suspicion that this could be where some of the extra weight of the bike is coming from. The dropper post is controlled by this lever down here. The bike came with a Physic Antares R7 saddle and it didn't feel right for me, so I have the Giant contact forward saddle on this bike as well as almost all my other bikes. You can probably tell that I am running Crank Brothers pedals. The brakes and the brake levers, they put the Shimano Dior MT410s on with the MT401 brake levers. On the rear wheel, we have the cassette, and I have a feeling that this is pretty heavy as well. They threw on the Shimano Dior M6100, which is a 10 to 51 tooth. The chain itself is a KMC X12. The crankset isn't too bad, and it didn't add as much weight as I expected. They went with the Praxis Cadet crank arms and a 32 tooth chainring. Remember, this bike can only fit a 34 tooth chainring max. The crank arms are 175 millimeters. The bottom bracket is a Shimano press fit. The bike does come with carbon rims, as you can see on the front and the back. These are the Giant XC2 version. I'm not sure how light they are, but they have really huge Maxxis 2.4 tires on there. Just as a comparison, my carbon set that I race with, my tires and wheels and rotors, is 1.6 pounds lighter than this carbon wheel set, how they have it set up. We'll get more into weight savings in the next video. I am beginning to think that they did not build a fast XC racing machine like they claim in the description of this bike. Some people in the US don't want to have the live valve system, and so this is the only option we're really stuck with, either getting this bike or just buying the frame and building from there. My old Giant, now we're going a little bit back in the past, was a 2018 Anthem size medium just like this, and was priced $400 more than this bike. That bike, with my same Crank Brothers pedals, was 24.5 pounds out of the box. 5 years later, the same bike, which was $400 less than that other bike, comes out of the box with the same pedals on it at 27.4 pounds. I feel like I'm missing something here. Aren't we supposed to make bikes faster and lighter? Especially for cross-country racing. Before I dig into that issue, the old 2018 bike also would fit the Line Components Holy Rail bottle cage holding system. That way I could get 2 water bottles on my bike. The new bike does not even come close to fitting this system, and that is why I am now stuck with only 1 bottle cage. I feel like they're making these bikes for World Cup racing. Although this bike is way too heavy to race World Cup, no one in their right mind would even decide to race that, so I don't understand why we're only allowing for 1 water bottle cage still. Again, in the description, they talk like this bike is a light racing machine, yet no person racing Cat 1 or Pro will be on a bike that weighs this much. It's just too slow uphill, and it's very disappointing when you get home and realize how much weight this bike really is. I did not want the live valve system like I mentioned before, and a lot of other people don't want that. So this is my only option to stay with Giant. I was not happy when I got my bike home and put my pedals on and weighed it at 27.4 pounds. I canceled a few races that I had planned on doing because I would not be able to hang on with Fast Elite XC racers on a heavy trail bike. There are some good things though. The bike does handle better on rough terrain. It handles better than the 2018. You don't feel like you're going to go over the bars like you did before, and I'm guessing that's because of the slacker angle in the front. I do have to admit, the bike does look better than it did before as well. If you're looking to get this bike and race Expert Elite or Pro, just know that you're going to have to put more money into this bike to get it race ready in order to compete. Having said that, I'm going to be replacing the bars. I'm also going to lose this dropper seat post. I'm going to be switching out the heavy brakes, and I'm going to replace the crankset. I'm hoping to get this bike down to my previous bike's weight, which was 22.5 pounds. I will put another video out and update you all on what I've done and the conclusion. Stay tuned, it should be out fairly soon. Thanks for watching and listening to my thoughts on the 2022 Giant Anthem Pro 3 29er cross-country mountain bike.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind.